let's just see. Oh my god, why? Why have you done this thing? Why? It also bothers me that, like, I know that character, and I'm just like, oh god. Okay.
I respect the hustle.
Yeah. Wasn't a weird way to start class. Anywho, I like the texture, I guess, or something. I don't really know. But it seems like the wrinkles you have put in, this is so creepy. Why? I just, dear God. You're a terrible person. All right.
So you don't appreciate fine art.
I don't even, I mean, I was mostly looking at the quality of the textures, then I realized what I said, and I'm like, oh. But no, I mean, like, the wrinkles that you have look pretty good. Yeah, that's a fair point. I'll grab this guy, I guess. So this is just the displacement without the texture on it, then?
Yep.
Okay, this is so much easier to look at. There's nothing I can say here that's not somehow incriminating. No, but like I didn't even notice that there was like this, this like bump in the middle of the pillow. What?
It just doesn't show.
Yeah. So I actually really appreciate that you actually did include the white pillows in here, because it does definitely help. Dang it. Oh, I'm adding layers. Because that does totally help show off the actual textures. So yeah, I mean, is this a displacement map or a normal map?
It's a displacement map.
Okay. It seems like I would expect it to maybe do more around the corners, and it looks kind of flat, but who knows? Yeah, I mean, I think like the position of the wrinkles look pretty good, and the quality is nice. It still seems like the displacement map might not quite be doing displacement map things. I don't know, it's a little hard to tell from the renders, but yeah. I think my only comments with this would be maybe it'd be nice if like some of the sides were like pressed in a little bit more from the wrinkles. And if your displacement map is like for some reason showing up as a bump map or something like that, that would account for like why that's not happening. But yeah. All right. So anyone else have any thoughts or comments on this demon pillow? Cool. For the record, this is the weirdest thing I have ever had to pull up in front of a large group of people before, so congratulations for whatever that's worth. All right. I open this and I'm like, no. All right, anyone else want to volunteer their project and or make me suffer? All right. That was quite funny. No. Dang it, where am I going? All right. So in that case, I'm just gonna grab a random project then. Hiya. All right.
Is that me? I can't read it.
Jake?
Yeah.
Then yes.
Thought I saw it.
Gotcha. I keep trying to like click on stuff and it's, oh, that's nice. That explains why my folders keep closing. That's so obnoxious. All right. Ooh. All right. So any thoughts on these pillows minus the fact that there's another random pillow render under these? I think like the overall texture you have on here looks really nice. The wood it's sitting on is also like, I don't know. Color-wise, I feel like it works pretty nicely with the pillows. Watch out for like a little bit of texture stretching down here.
Yeah, I just threw a
Yeah.
image of wood on top of that and then foam map it.
Yeah.
End up like going into this side.
That's fair.
The other renders you actually can't see.
If there's texture stretching, I will find it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think like, I like the displacement you have. Like, I think it looks really nice. And I also like that you've duplicated the object to sort of show off, or just like make a little bit more of a scene, I guess. But like this texture up here feels really nice. It does feel like a nice thick pillow to me.
I had one issue where
Yeah.
after I put the normal map on, it kind of stretched the textures on the side. Like
Right.
I initially painted this in Mudbox, but I had to go out and get a better texture that would show less of
well, I think I have like a weird theory. All right, so for the texture stretching,
You'll just have to unhide the,
I see. Okay. Oh, okay. Did you automatic map this?
I did.
Gotcha.
Initially I didn't, I did it worse. And then I
Okay.
got slightly better.
When you say originally I didn't, did you have the like default Maya square UVs on this?
I went through and I unfolded it with the default square and then I cut it
Okay.
to make it a little bit more sense.
Okay.
And when I went into Mudbox and pulled out the texture I painted, it was super messed up. I guess where I had drawn the lines was just not optimal. And
Do you-
then I redid it once and saw there was still a bit of slicing, and at that point I wasn't going to
Right.
go into Mudbox and do it a third time. So.
That's fair. Do you have the broken bump maps in here?
Potentially. I removed a lot of the files because it was a very large project folder.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah, so not everything's in there, but you might be able to find something.
Right. I mostly ask because any of these looking promising-ish. I mostly so. Oh wait, it's PNG. So looking at if this is is this the map that you were using for the final one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So looking at this, I don't know why. For some reason, on all the computers I've ever used, Mudbox will export like a black background, but for some reason it's been doing gray for a few people. But one thing, so like if you toggle back and forth between displaced and non-displaced, you'll notice like, actually, it looks like in some areas it's causing like extra, like sort of fluff to be added onto the pillow, but in others it's not. So you might actually be fine with that. I like how you added the little ridge thing here. You did a pretty good job. I mean, I can tell there's a seam here, but like you did a relatively good job camouflaging the kind of weird UV seams that you have on the project.
That was where the main seam was, right on the edges.
Yeah.
Painting it in Mudbox was way too obvious.
Right.
But the like the photograph texture that I ended up putting on was better.
Yeah. So one thing you like, if I were doing this, I would probably actually just cut it straight around here and just leave like two basically rectangular UVs.
Okay.
Just because like it'll make texturing easier, but like also if you actually make a pillow, that's how you make a pillow. So it is kind of a logical way, in my opinion, to slice the UVs. I'm curious to see though if you ever do anything with like a resubmit for this, can you send me one of the broken UVs for grins? Because I want to see.
I should have
Yeah.
it, so.
Because yeah, I want to see like it seems like a lot of people are having issues, and I'm wondering if it's somehow tied to UVs. Because I noticed like I took someone's broken file and like re-UV'd it, and then it was fine. But I was also on my personal laptop, which I've never seen these issues on before. So
Yeah, I never had any of the issues that people were describing where it's
Right.
displacement, but it just came out a bit strange.
gotcha. But yeah, I mean, I think like the overall effect that you've created with the pillow looks really nice. I do like all the textures and stuff that you've added on.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else have? Oh yeah, this totally looks better with the displacement on. All right. So anyone else want to look at their projects or have any questions? Cool. Here what are your initials?
APM.
APM. Thanks. Hi. Dear God. All right. So did you have any particular questions or just wanted to look at your files? Yes. This makes me so happy. All right. I'm sorry. So
The original thing itself was, I would say, fluff to like more fur.
right.
Tried to give it a oxygen type, oxygen, forget how that goes. It should be, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have this kind of texture is like super hard to. I have no problem with you doing a different texture for that. But yeah. So did you have any issues with the displacement maps or anything like that, or no?
Not really. I think I
Cool.
could have done a better job on eyes, but with that.
So I actually have. So if you're ever looking to do, where am I going? I hate Photoshop. If you're ever looking to do eyes sort of similar to this, what I would actually recommend doing is making it in like 2 to 3 separate parts, which sounds really weird, but if you look at an eye, it is actually made in separate parts. So if you do either like a black hole or just like a very squished sphere for the pupil, a little torus or donut shape for the iris, and then just color those according to whatever they look like here. And then basically wrap that in a giant bubble of clear with like a glass texture on it. That'll actually kind of give you the effect of pretty much what this eye is doing right now. But yeah. I think if you want to do a resubmit, where am I going? Dear God. If you want to do a resubmit, I might work on trying to like get a little bit more detail into the like the shark. I know he had like little fins and stuff like that, or like texture in some of the seams in the fabric. I think that'd be a nice touch. And again, I don't care if you change, because like that furry fabric is like a nightmare and a half to texture without doing some kind of hair sim or something. But yeah, so like maybe like a little bit more detail in those areas, and then if you happen to have time, it might not be a bad idea to go back in and try hitting the tail, like get it a little bit rounder, because like these fins are pretty nice shaped, where they're like very rounded, and then the tail's like a little bit square. And that might be something as easy as just sort of hitting the edge vertices with average vertices. It'll just sort of like crush them down a little bit onto the side and like unsquarify them, if that makes sense. But yeah, cool. I very much like the choice of object. It's quite silly. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I was looking at one of your things without a displacement map. So when I look at the one with the displacement map, my bad. I also might, if you go back and do anything with this, I might bump the subdivisions up a little bit higher. Because it looks like the whole thing is like a little bit grainy and pixely. Which will totally be caused. Do you remember how many subdivision levels you used?
I think I went up to, I tried 5 at first, but then I went up to 6.
Okay.
I might have to try it again. I was having trouble, I forgot what the workflow was for like exporting out at high subdivision levels and like
Same.
putting it onto the
Right.
like a lower polygon thing.
I mean, it should be the same. I see you have a normal app. It should be the same as doing like a low resolution. Oh, I see. So it is. Hang on. It looks like this is grainy for some reason.
I could give it another shot.
I'm wondering if it just like exported weird, or if that was like a texture thing or something. I don't know. Either way, it looks maybe a little low res. Oh, what size is this image?
I would export it at like 3K by 3K.
You might have. I don't know. I might have just shrunken weird when I put it. Oh yeah, you did. Okay. All right. So if that's the case, it might just be a UV thing. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I guess this is like the top and bottom of your guy. So I think what is actually happening here is like, even if your sculpt is really really high resolution, if this is like the whole back of the shark right here, it's occupying such a small texture space that it's just basically being crushed down to be low resolution, because this area of pixels is being stretched, really really far. Like if you zoom in on the fin, it's going to stretch this across your entire screen, if that makes sense. So that might just be what the issue was. It does look like you have nice detail and stuff in there. But yeah, cool. Any other thoughts or questions about this?
No, that was
Cool. I still like the object. It makes me happy. Except for the creepy pillow earlier. Yep.
I have a question. So, like, when you scope in ZBrush,
Mhm.
so when you stretch the geometry a little bit too far,
Yeah.
you need to use like the word for the I think it's called Dynamesh, something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. There's a few different things in ZBrush. To be honest, I've not used them in a very long time, and I don't think I've ever used them when I was like trying to export a displacement map. But there are ways in ZBrush where you can like retopologize your meshes, and what am I doing right now? If you want, I can make a tutorial about that later. I just like don't remember how to do it off the top of my head. I'll add it to my notes really quick, actually, as I open ZBrush. 5 seconds. But yeah, so I assume like the issue that you're talking about is if you had just so I'm clear, if you made like this cube thing here, and then so like if your geometry was something like this, and then when you go to like subdivide the mesh, there's just not enough information in here, kind of thing. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When just like when you're sculpting,
Mm-hmm.
you can like kind of move the geometry, like probably just like grab a certain vertices outside and then.
I see. So.
Yeah.
So wait, so your issue is it's not necessarily like mesh density where like the sides here are really dense and the inside isn't? It's
Like in ZBrush, like when you sculpting,
Yeah.
you're basically moving those
Right.
geometry, right?
Yeah.
So like when you're doing it, sometimes you move it way too far.
Right.
So like basically there's a
Gotcha.
it's really not dense.
It's okay, so it's not low poly because of the subdivisions, it's kind of like low poly and grainy because you've just like stretched the mesh so far.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. To be honest, so normally when I do displacement maps on stuff, the like geometry is like there enough where I'm usually not stretching things that far, but yeah, I can look into that and like do something. I'll do like a tutorial or something on that and send out an email. Any other questions on stuff? All right. Does anybody else want to volunteer their project distribute? All right. If this is the case, I might do like one more random project and then wander on to the other things. Hiya. Whoa. Yo, this background is so trippy. I like it. Perhaps a little distracting from the thumbnails at least, but like cool looking. Alright, so I do not need.
I have some serious issues from like
Yeah.
model in my box was fine, but then when I displaced some that in Maya, it was weird. Like it was pixelated on like some areas and then
Gotcha.
flat in like other parts.
Alright, so this is your displacement map, it looks like.
And I don't know where it was red.
Yeah, for some reason I've been seeing a lot of people's stuff export red, and I've literally also never seen that. But I just go through and I'll look at like the channels, and like the green looks like what it should be doing. So conceivably you could just grab the green. Did you email me about this? This looks really familiar.
I did not.
Okay. No, I mean at some point you look at a lot of displacement maps that are all for pillows, and you start kind of forgetting which ones are which. But yeah, so are you rendering in Arnold? And
It might have been a UV issue though.
say again?
I think it might have been a partly UV issue though.
Okay. I would have recommended doing like tweaking the default Maya UVs to be a little bit more customized. Are we going Sheets official?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. I see what I'm looking at now. Oh, wait. So this is. Oh, okay. Are you doing like some kind of like texture map thing here, or what am I saying? All right. I'm not. I know there's like a way you can map UVs like this. I just don't like. I've never really looked into it. Were you doing one of the things where you like map different textures into the different quadrants here?
No, I just did the UV thing test, and then for some reason I got a bunch of them when I exported it from my box. But they're all different.
Right. Hang on. Okay, so I would imagine that these are all I would imagine that for one, your map probably had issues because you can do things like this, but if you don't set up your model and your scene the correct way, you can have issues. So right now, if you're just trying to do a single displacement map, where are the rest of the stuff? Oh, I see. So this is like the main
That's the one I did.
main one.
Last year, and I got those other ones from the bottom.
Weird. Wait, when you exported the mesh?
Yeah, from my bottom.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I was assuming that this was your oh, interesting. Okay. I thought this was your original sculpt in Maya. All right. Yeah, that's really, I'm not entirely sure why I did that. It's a little bizarre. But all right, so does this have your like texture stuff fall over it? Or okay, sorry, that was all right. So I don't see a displacement map, so I'm just gonna grab whatever file. Where am I going? Download computer. And it was the displacement TIFF.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let me see what that gives us. Oh, well, that's delightful looking. Let's immediately turn this into creepy giant pill. All right, so my thought is maybe this object needs. I'm just gonna go in and like set the. Where am I going? Set this to be for subdivisions to Cat Clark and see if that helps at all. I have a feeling it's not going to, but I'll try it. Yeah, this is like really bizarre. It could be some kind of weird function of me not setting my project, but I manually linked in your texture, so it should be fine. I'm wondering if I just grabbed the wrong map. I think I was actually looking for like version 3. Too much stuff open. All right, so I was looking for True Displacement version 3 EXR. I think I grabbed the wrong file. Wait. Oh, wait, no. Oh, I'm straight up in the wrong project. That might explain why. Sorry. What are your initials again? YM. Okay, thank you. That explains why it looked broken. All right. You're gonna. Oh no. It lives. All right, sort of. So it looks. I mean, for one, the texture's coming across like really low res, obviously, but I would imagine this has something to do with the UVs. I think for one, what might be happening is just like when you look in the UV editor for the object, which I should select. So basically, if you ever have, unless you're like specifically set up your program to do something different, it's going to take your texture and put it on this like 0 to 1. It's going to fill the square with your texture basically, and then every other little square that you see, it's going to repeat the texture there. So it'll basically just like automatically tile your texture for you. So that's why if you have like UVs sticking out of this square, it'll usually like repeat a random part of your texture. If you've ever seen that happening. But I think what's happening, so I mean this one should be fine, theoretically, since it's just repeating the texture on the UVs that are supposed to be there. But like these areas down here look a little bit funky, and I think that's just because it's repeating this map here for these like little sections of UVs, which are sort of like smushed along the bottom of your object. So that I think is doing something a little bit bizarre. And then I think the other issue with that you're probably getting with this is just the fact that the UVs aren't quite tailored to the shape of your object. So let's see if I can find like the top of this somewhere. That's not what I want. Stop rendering. All right. So if this is, yeah, so if this is the top of your object here, like that would correspond to this. So this is getting stretched pretty far to cover that top of your object. So one thing I might do if you're doing stuff with this anyway, I would probably go back and just like re-UV your object really quick. And I think that would help with at least some of there's like some areas of sort of low res textures. Like under here, you can see it's just like a little bit grainy, which I assume is just from pixelation from texture stretching. Does that make sense? Cool. But yeah, and then the other thing that like might be a little bit safer, I've never seen Mudbox like export stuff like this with all these like weird extra UV stuff. That's very weird, but it might be safer. So did you like, you sculpted and then exported the low resolution base mesh from that sculpt? Okay. It might be safer to like take your original object and then export the map onto that, just so you can guarantee that it's not going to do like weird whatever the heck this is with the UVs. Do you remember how to do that, or?
How to export the object?
Or like the thing, so you said you were in Mudbox?
Yeah.
So there's like that thing that you need to do where you copy the object and then like import the object, copy your original one. So that way you have a copy of that original object in your scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you do that, like hopefully some combination of that would help. And if it doesn't, let me know or just send me a picture of your sculpt.
I can use a picture of the sculpt.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
So you said the pixelation probably like the UVs checked out?
Yeah, so I mean it's, so like whatever your textures are doing on these UVs, it's taking basically maybe like a 16th of your UV grid and like stretching it across the entire render, like for the top of this pillow, which is what probably I'm guessing why it looks grainy.
I used to use these from the original object. I guess I should put that on. Afterwards.
Sorry, one more time?
I used UVs from the original object. I guess I should use it.
Or like, so I mean these are like just default square UVs, so I would at least customize them so that they're like the shape of your object and look like.
The object was like mostly a rectangle.
Right. But I'm saying that these are, if you create like a square that's a literal square, like if you just make a cube like this, that's what the UVs for the cube look like. If it would let me select the cube. Oh, I see. Right. So like default square UVs and then pretty much the same like default square UVs. So if you stretch this object so it's no longer a cube, it's going to still keep that same pattern for the UVs, but like anything in here is going to get super stretched and distorted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a feeling that's just what's happening here. But yeah. Any other questions with that? Cool. Last call for anyone wanting to volunteer their project or have questions about displacement stuffs. All right. Cool.